UConn 76, Michigan State 69 in the exhibition game on UConn Plus last night. Cart, what'd you learn about your team? Let's get right into it.
Well, first thing I learned is that wife watches charges on the card. Immediately got a text, was like 7.99 for Yukon S&P. What's that? And I was like, sweetie, I'm at stores tonight with it. To which she responded, where is stores? Anywho here.
She
Uh
said stores? I get to go to stores?
she
Not
said
that,
store,
not that stores, honey. Not
not that.
that.
She said Xfinity Center? No, not the Xfinity, not Gamble, hun. No, we'll talk about it when you get home. But uh look, a uh it's a weird game because I feel like you got to discuss it kind of in not to coach speak this right here, but 4 minute segments, or even if you want to do half by half. I guess we'll get a little bit deeper into it, but a couple of just big thoughts about it. Still, some offensive half court struggles for Michigan State. Still struggles in general when not able to get out in transition. Still some rebounding issues, I think, out of the front court. Defensive issues, I think, also showed themselves a little bit in this game from everybody, for the most part, at some point. And also, classic exhibition theme, I think, for this year. A lot of foul calls. I mean, a lot. Luckily for UConn and Michigan State, I think Izzo and Hurley had the good old gentleman's handshake nod or whatever you want to call it, that no one could foul out in this exhibition game. That worked out well because, yeah, I think it would have been tough to keep on playing with how many people were fouling, how much fouls there were in this game, and Michigan State needs to be better from the free throw line, but free throws are really what even kept them remotely close in this basketball game. But UConn ends up winning a big one, down two starters, pretty impressive by them, and one that I think Michigan State's got some stuff to work on.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about from the Michigan State side. Knowing us, we'll do like 75 minutes on this game somehow. That seems to be a constant with you and I in the last 2 years.
Is it stupid to start with UConn?
We should start with UConn. Yeah, I think we should. That should be a point of emphasis for us. The same way officials in exhibitions this year have made calling a million fouls a point of emphasis, we should make starting our recaps with the winning team a point of emphasis this year. Like the officials, hopefully this only lasts like a week, but for this week we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it a lot. So, yeah, on the UConn side of things. I mean, look, this is just a different differentiator from this version of Michigan State compared to UConn that I thought was glaring, and it's gonna be really obvious and elementary. But UConn has two dudes in Alex Caravan and Solo Ball that are just good. They're studly and they've been around the block. And I thought those two were largely the difference in this game. They were the best two players on the court. They both played 32 and 33 minutes. Caravan had 18, Ball had 18. Neither one did anything overly spectacular. Ball didn't shoot great. He was 1 for 7. Caravan shot well from three, but wasn't good inside the arc. Got to the free throw line. Combined, they were 13 for 13 from the line. Um, they were just like reliable, high level, Final Four level starters, right? Like they kind of paced everything this UConn team did, I thought, offensively. And I think that's something Michigan State's still searching for. I mean, obviously they made an Elite Eight run last year and that they were good, but like their guys this year are guys that are now being asked to be the guys for the first time. Fears was in a timeshare last year. Cohen has never even started. And it felt to me, it's like, okay, we've got our two, and UConn's got their two. And for this night, to me, UConn's guys were just a lot more constant throughout the game.
Yeah, I think that it's fair to say too, as you watch these two teams, and I think we had the discussion before this game when you were like, "Yeah, pick your players before you get to a Michigan State player." It was it was very obvious, like roster versus roster, that UConn just has the better roster and better players, even down two starters.
Yeah, which is not an indictment on Michigan State. It is more that UConn is a legitimate top five team in the country. That's how I
Right.
felt
And
watching this.
and because of that, and because of the rosters of UConn being as good as they are, and I mean, look, we talked about it all summer. You can go look at any UConn video we ever did. Uh, UConn's a top 4 5 team preseason in the country for a reason. They're very talented, even down two starters, I would say. Uh, but when you are behind the eight ball, for lack of a better term, roster wise, you got to do certain things at a higher level to give yourself a legitimate chance to win. And Michigan State just didn't do that in this game.
Yeah, and we'll talk through some of those, but just as a starting point, you and I, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, did a segment on the podcast where we predicted what the end of year AP poll would be.
Hmm.
Like basically not, well, who deserves it now? What's it going to look like at the end of the year? We both agreed UConn is our postseason number 1 team. We think they're going to be the number 1 overall seed going into the NCAA tournament. Part of that was because we think they're awesome, but part of it is because we think they're going to dominate their conference in a way that even Houston, Purdue, other teams at the top of this sport will not. Did anything coming out of this game change your mind on that, or do you feel like emboldened in our belief that this is going to be the best team in the country in March?
It goes both ways because there was other players that I was impressed with in this game, but also at the same time, I think a big part of this equation where I think UConn is at that spot is Mullins and Reed. I think they would add a lot. I wasn't particularly impressed with guys like Jalen Stewart in this basketball game. Now I think he can play better, but I think the version that has this UConn team fully healthy, yeah, I could see a world where they are the number 1 team in the country at the end of the year, especially like to your point, the Big East is looking like a shaky warrior for those who dabble. Yeah, it might be.
Wait,
I could see it.
what is that a reference to?
Shaky warrior.
Okay, there we go. Um, yeah, I mean, look, this is another example of a team like without guys they're going to have during the season, where maybe more so than any other thing during exhibition season, we shouldn't react to like what a team looks like personnel wise, because UConn with Terrace Reed and UConn with Braylon Mullins is just going to look a lot different than they did in this game. But I agreed with you. Like outside of Caravan and Ball and Jaden Ross, who was pretty awesome off the bench. Now, I think most of his awesomeness was just making shots. He didn't really
Hmm.
do anything except for making shots. But if he's a shot maker off the bench, that's great for this UConn team. Demery might take a little longer to get going than I think we thought.
So he started off super hot. Like he had 6 right away, and I was like, it's about to get spooky. Then the foul trouble happened, and also, outside of Caravan and Ball, UConn was kind of getting everybody a shot in this one.
Yeah, they played a lot of guys.
Yeah.
They played a lot of guys. But yeah, Demery fouled out in 21 minutes, 3 assists to 2 turnovers. That's fine. Didn't attempt a shot from inside the arc. I didn't love that.
Hmm.
I am curious what's going on with Demery. Now, look, he's also coming off an injury. This was like his first real minutes in a competitive situation for UConn. It's going to take some time. I think that's obvious for anyone. This guy's gotten Tristan Newton comps. Tristan Newton is another player who, like, it kind of took some time for. He didn't become All American Tristan Newton until the end of year 2 at UConn. What I would say is this. I do think kind of similarly to what Jalen Lowe is going to have to go through at Kentucky. He's going from a situation where it was like the Demery show every night, go get us 20, to like, how are you going to fit in? Can you do other things? Even on a good night for Demery, I don't think Dan Hurley or anyone on UConn wants Demery to like be the leading scorer on this team. And I felt
Yeah.
like he played that way in this game a little bit. Like he wasn't as aggressive as I've seen in the past. I think he'll get there, but it's a luxury that they have Malachi Smith off the bench because I think it might take a little longer than we thought for Demery to get going.
Right. And I think that to your point, I think you brought this up. Malachi Smith might just be a little bit more comfortable in the role that UConn needs him to play. Because even in this game, you see that Ball and Caravan took the bulk of the shots in this game.
Yeah.
Right? Like Caravan at 11, Solo Ball had 13. When Reed gets back, he's gonna need his shot attempts, giving the ball in the post. Even when Mullins gets back, that's the guy's also going to need his shots. And we saw this happen with Tristan Newton. I'm pretty sure Tristan Newton probably went from like 15 shots a game to like 6 shots a game in that first year at UConn. So I think there is going to be an adjustment period associated with that, and it might take a little bit of time, but yeah, I mean, he had his first 2 threes in the first 2 minutes, first four
Yeah.
minutes, and then there was no attempts after that.
Basically silence the rest of the game. Now, also, I think part of that should be a credit to the Michigan State perimeter defense. Michigan State does have some dogs in the backcourt still, not as many as last year, but Fears was getting into it. Did you see the moment between Fears and Malachi Smith?
Yeah, I think Fears is always gonna try to mix it up. That's just he needs to. I don't think he can play without doing that.
Yeah, it's who he is. He's going to stir the pot. And I don't know, I think part of the UConn point guard position in this game having a quiet night was Fears. I thought Fears was arguably the best point guard on the floor. He got to the line at will and stirred things up. And that can take guys out of their games for sure. So, not worried about it, but keeping an eye on it. I will say this too. Demery and Smith combined for 36 minutes in this game. I think that's the lowest total they'll combine for this year. Like that, those two should combine for at minimum 40 minutes a game, just at the point guard spot, and ideally more like 50. Play 10 minutes together. They combined for 10 fouls. They both had 5 fouls, and I used the term foul out. They didn't actually foul guys out of this game. In fact, Dwayne Caroma had 6 fouls. UConn had 4 different guys with 5 or more fouls. Ryby was the other one. It was
Yeah.
just an ugly foul fest. But yeah, I at the risk of coming across in a negative way with this, I'm going to make a comparison that I think people are going to hate. And I actually mean this in an endearing way.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the Kansas team that won the national title?
Like with Remy and Jalen was it Jalen Wilson's role player on that team.
Jalen Wilson was in a pretty big role on that team. Agbaji was the star.
Yeah, but that was the year like before Jalen Wilson was like the All-American, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
one year before Wilson was an All-American. I think Wilson was like the second best player for the most part. Trying to remember who was at the 4 on that team. I'm blanking right now, but
Was
anyways,
McCormick on that team?
McCormick was the center.
McCormick was the center.
Do you get where I'm going with this?
Oh, oh.
That's who this UConn team reminds me of. And I'm about to go player by player, and you might get upset about it, UConn fans, but you shouldn't, because that Kansas team was awesome and won a national championship.
Was
Uh,
Brown on that? Was Brown on that
oh
team?
yeah, it was Brown. It was Brown.
Chris Brown, yeah.
Christian Brown. So this is why they remind me of that team card. Kansas had like DeJuan Harris, who was just the past first point guard. That's it at the time, and he was young. Then they also had Remy Martin, who was kind of brought in to be this like alpha superstar guard. And Remy was just kind of like a score first guy that didn't exactly fit that team build all that well.
Hmm.
Because as the season went on, it became really clear Kansas's 3 best players every single night, guys that were going to score 15 a night, were at the 2, the 3, and the 4. Agbaji, Wilson, Brown. Those were your constants. Those guys were going to lead your team in shots and scoring every night. And then
Yeah.
at the 5, you had this guy in McCormack who was kind of this erratic, like, what's he going to give you guy? Like, some
Hmm.
nights he'd give you nothing, and then some nights he'd give you 16 rebounds, right?
Yeah.
I think that's exactly what UConn is. I think Terrace Reed is McCormack. He's going to have nights where he gets you 20 rebounds, and then he's going to have nights where he's really quiet. I think they're going to have 3 wings once Mullins is back that every night are scoring double figures in Caravan, Ball, and Mullins. And then I think at the point guard spot, you've got this guy in Demery who should be this star, but is kind of in the Remy Martin spot where like it might not be the end of the world if he's not the do everything guy. I don't know how well he fits with the wings needing 15 points a game. Malachi Smith is kind of Dewan here. Malachi Smith is like, I'll just get 6 assists. I think that's the pitch. In the end, like Remy Martin gave them really good minutes in the tournament. You played them together sometimes, and you could kind of pick and choose your guy given what night you needed. But I don't know. Do you buy that vision for this team? Because that's the team build that comes to mind for me, and they won a national championship.
Yeah, I buy it somewhat. I'm trying, was that 2021, 2022?
Sounds right to me. Yeah, I think.
Okay. I'm just like doing like a little like side by side little. I think they'd be disappointed if Terrace did McCormack numbers, but I see where you're kind of coming from a little bit there. McCormack was actually better his junior year.
McCormick dominated the NCAA tournament, though.
Yeah,
Like
he
he
was
just he had a quote unquote bad season, but like in the tournament, man, he had 25 and 9, 15 and 10. He was killing in the final four in the championship game.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to push back too much. I don't think anyone should if you're getting compared to a national championship team.
It's more about the point guard spot to me. That's what it reminds me of. It's like we
Yeah,
think Demery's the guy, and it's like, maybe he's Remy Martin.
yeah.
Maybe
The only
maybe this
difference
team
is that
needs a
Remy,
passer.
I think that Bill Self wanted to kill Remy Martin, and I think that Dan Hurley's going to love Malachi Smith.
Well, you mean Demery?
Oh, Demery is Remy in this situation.
Demery is Remy. I think
Kind
Hurley
of,
might want to kill Demery.
I kind of like that then.
Yeah, Malachi Smith is Dewan, who I think Hurley is going to love as time goes on.
Okay, all right, now, all right, we got there.
Yeah, that's my pitch. That's my pitch. We'll see if I'm right. But okay, moving on. Outside of the point guard spot, which we just talked about, the two stars, which we talked about, Eric Ryby is probably the next thing I want to talk about. 5 points, 7 rebounds, 5 fouls, 2 blocks in 22 minutes, 1 for 2 from the free throw line, 2 for 6 from the floor. I think I'm at the point where I think Ryby is ready defensively. Now the
Hmm.
fouls aren't great, but when Reed's back, he can foul all he wants off the bench. No one's going to care. Offensively, he's a baby deer that is not ready.
Yeah, he needs a year.
Just
He
really
needs
like almost like strength. Isn't he just like getting pushed off his spot kind of?
right. Like I guess like you know how they try to compare it to Klingon first year.
Yeah.
I thought Klingon just needed to get like in better shape slash healthier, but like he had moments defensively. Ryby needs to eat some protein and get with the strength coach because
Yeah.
the finishes are, for lack of a better term, extremely soft.
He's just a lot more finesse than I once thought from watching his high school tape. Like
Yeah,
he
but
kind of doesn't seek contact at all.
which is weird though because the stuff that I watch, it wasn't like that. Now in the U19, he was productive. It was a little bit more finesse,
It was finesse.
but it was not that. And maybe we just chalk it up to high school. He didn't have to do that, but.
Well, he was also playing with Hans Steinbach. So like Steinbach is the ultimate contact seeker, going to get 20
Right.
rebounds a game. Respectfully, like UConn pretty much plays small ball at all times, right? Alex Caravan at the four is about as small of a four as you'll see in college basketball. They kind of need more physicality from the five spot, and I think that's why this isn't going to end up being a competition at all. Terrace Reed is as physical as they come. Um, yeah, I still really believe in Ryby, but I was disappointed in like he had a lot of catch and like make a move opportunities in this game. Was not impressed with the attempted moves.
Yeah, I was like, your 7 foot go up, and it was more like, well, I kind of want to go back over my right shoulder and make this 3 foot shot a 7 foot shot.
Right.
But also like at the same time, I'm buying year two Ryby.
I am too, and even who he is right now with zero improvement is still a really high level backup
Oh,
five.
for sure,
Yeah, it's
for
great.
sure, and kind of complimentary to Terrace too, because Terrace is all like, "Arr," and Ryby's like, "Meh."
Also, after seeing it though, I now officially do believe that Terrace Reed's been punking the student practice.
You now you buy it.
I really didn't want to buy it. Now I saw it. I'm like, Yee, Terrace is probably punking that dude in practice.
Yeah,
Anything else on the bench? I mentioned Jaden Ross shot the lights out in this game. That'll come and go, but when it comes, great. Jalen Stewart started and largely did nothing in 24 minutes. He was 1 for 6 from the floor, 1 for 2 from the free throw line, 3 points, 3 rebounds. Any other guys you want to call out here and or thoughts on Jalen Stewart? And like I think I'm kind of out on the whole Jalen Stewart experiment at this point. It's year 3, and I don't think we've seen anything new from him.
the thing that I didn't like outside of the non-shooting for him was I thought there was an overall tentativeness to how he was playing. Like
Yeah.
even thinking back, I think the broadcaster brought it up. Like he's a guy who's like high energy, high confidence, even in his small minutes off the bench in the past couple years. And I didn't really see that. I saw someone who maybe was in their head that Braylon Mullins is going to be out for a long time. I'm given this opportunity. I'm a think about it too much. I'm gonna be tentative about it. To be honest with you, and I'd be interested to know what you got to say about this. I'm a little bit more worried that Braylon Mullins is going to be out for 6 weeks. after
Yeah,
this exhibition.
I
And I,
think
and I was worried before, obviously, because Braylon Mullins is good, but I thought like the others could like suffice until like he gets there. Mm.
yeah, I think we've gassed up the Yukon depth in a really big way. Jacob Furphy looks totally out of sorts right now.
Hmm.
And Stewart, I mean, Stewart is who he is, right? He's a bench guy. If he's your eighth guy, I think you're happy with it. If he's your sixth guy, you can deal with it. If he's in the starting lineup, something's probably wrong. And, you look at what happened last year with Stewart, like he would basically go 5 games at a time, not really contributing. And then all of a sudden he'd pop out with like, oh, you had 16 this game. I think that's going to continue. Can I make it all about me again?
Sure.
He reminds me of Brandon Johns.
I think UConn fans would kill for him to be Brandon Johns.
The all-timer
Wait,
frustrating Michigan
which
guy.
Brandon Johns? Because VCU Brandon Johns was kind of nice.
Well, like Brandon Johns was just the all-timer, like there's something here guy. And then you
Hmm.
got to year 4 and you're like, nothing's changed. He goes for like 1 and 2, 5 out of 6 games. And then game 6, he gives you 15. You're like, why can't you do that every game? I just think I'm kind of out on it at this point. I thought this was a big opportunity for him that he largely failed. And that's frustrating.
Yeah, I think so too. And I don't know. We probably do got to move on to Michigan State, but I will say this: there's a world where, to your point, I think it actually would work better to start Malachi, go Malachi solo. Wait, hold on. Malachi solo, Caravan.
You're missing Demery.
I am missing Demery.
Are you talking when Mullins is back?
So no, the way I was trying to get this or work this was that you let Silas Demery more so play how he wants to play, and he can do that off the bench. But then you had that kind of gap there.
Until Mullins is back, I think you go, and they're not going to because they didn't really mess with the 2 point guard lineup. They tried it. I liked how it looked, but anyways, I think I would go Smith, Demery, Ball, Caravan, center, Reed when he's back. That's what I would do until Mullins is back. When Mullins is back, if the Smith stuff's working, then I like what I'm pitching here. Smith, Ball, Mullins, Caravan, Reed with Demery off the bench hunting. I like that vision a lot
Right.
for UConn.
Yeah, I think it could work.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay. All in all, though, like, don't for 1 second come out of this game like worried about UConn. I think would be my takeaway. Like worried about their health, maybe. But I think very much this was like we're a top 5 team in the country game. They led Michigan State by double figures for like 35 minutes while missing 2 starters. And Michigan State was at full strength and is a tournament team. So, like, you can't come out of this like with any real concerns for UConn, I don't think.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay, Michigan State. Where would you like to start? Because I have many places I want to go.
Yeah, a lot of places to go here. Let's start with positives.
Free throw line? What's to me the biggest positive is you attempted 44 free throws here.
Probably getting to the free throw line. Need to make them though. 29 for 44 is not Michigan State. Like, I mean, I think last year we thought it was kind of an anomaly. That's another scary part that I want to talk about. All of a sudden, Cohen Carr can't shoot free throws anymore. And we'll talk a little bit more about Cohen Carr in this whole segment. But yeah, I mean, getting to the free throw line was massive in this game. Kohler and Fears lived at the free throw line. Kohler was 8 for 10. Fears himself was 10 for 13. I actually really liked a lot of the stuff I saw from Fears in this game because our team was not able to do anything. And I thought that, whether it was forcing the other team to foul him or going and foul baiting or doing anything to get to the line, I thought he did some very positive things on the offensive end. Would like to see him take care of the ball a little bit better. He had 6 turnovers in this game, but he did have 6 assists to go along with it, 3 steals. I thought he was probably one of the few bright spots that I would talk about for Michigan State in this game, probably next to the front court, who, you know, I know Kohler struggled from the field, but he spit out a double double against what I would consider a good front court in Caravan and Ribey. So, and same thing with Carson Cooper, who I was ready to hurt. I was ready to hurt myself in the first half. He really picked it up in the second half. So good on him for that. Trying to think if I'm missing any other positives in this game. Let's see. Uh, I think that about does it.
Okay. Minutes, I think that's still probably a positive. The Fears and Cohen minutes are for real. They're going to play 32 minutes a night every night.
And if that is going to be for real, then we need to have a discussion.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment. But I think again, just as a starting point this season, I think are super optimistic that like Izzo seems to want to play the two guys you like the most here the whole game as much as he can.
Hmm.
Um, Fears and Cohen just played 32 minutes a game each in back-to-back exhibitions. I can't recall that happening in recent years much at all for anyone from Michigan State. So
Agreed.
speaks to where this roster is at and also the belief he has in those two guys. I think that's a positive. I feel like we kind of glossed over this just in the intro to this in terms of positives. You had two different front court guys with a double double in this game. I would love like a stats and research department look up when's the last time Michigan State had two different front court players record a double double in the same game.
Don't think I can give you that one.
Probably years ago. I mean, I
Yeah,
bet we have to go back before the Joey Hauser years for this. Truly.
probably.
So
Definitely.
like I know you and I feel differently about Cooper's performance in this game. We'll get to that. I don't think this was even Kohler's best game, but like just simple production here. 12 and 10 from Carson Cooper in 22 minutes, 10 and 12 from Jackson Kohler in 24 minutes. You can win with that. And
Hmm.
I think this team needs that from their front court because there are a lot of questions elsewhere on the roster. Is it now time to turn to some of those questions?
Yeah, and then the last thing I'll say too, you know, the thing that you have to realize, and cause I was having a discussion with some people about this with Jackson Kohler. Um, he's effective when he gets the ball in the post, and Alex Caravan was guarding him for a good portion of this game. Now, the issue with that is UConn's a really well coached team, and they realize that Jackson Kohler sometimes struggles when people dig down and they double team. So Kohler needs to be better at that. Also, it makes it tough for Kohler when it's so easy to double the post or double him because who's he going to kick out to? He's on the floor with guys who aren't knocking down shots. I mean, he was one of let's see. No, I'm sorry. He didn't hit a three this game. We only hit four threes in this basketball game, attempted 14. So it makes it tough on Kohler, but if he's going to be aggressive as he is, he gave you five offensive rebounds in this game. In the second half, he had Ribey in hell. Ribey could not box him out. Caravan could not box him out. He was really good on the offensive glass in this game. So, yeah, I think that about wraps it up. But look, if I'm gonna be able to get 22 and did I get 22 and 22 for my front court?
It's really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yes, I'll take that every single day.
It's really, really good. I thought Cooper was really good all around this game. We were kind of arguing about it in the Discord, not in like a real argument between us, but just like, disagreeing, respectfully debating it. You did not like what you saw from him defensively in the first half, and then you thought he got better in the second.
Yeah, he got better in the second half. In the first half, I was just honestly, I'm just chalking it up to just like one of those like moments. Like, guys have bad halves or bad moments. Um, but there was just like some like him
What
and the rest of the team.
what specifically from Cooper was bad though? Because to me, here's what I saw, and you can totally disagree with it. I admittedly may be wrong on this. I saw the guards and wings on Michigan State for the third consecutive exhibition quarter getting torched. I saw them getting torched off the dribble, not containing anybody. I saw
Mm,
Carson Cooper kind of becoming the victim of that.
mhm.
Like he's not erasing everything, but other guys are getting beat every play, and Coop's left to try and challenge it. To me, he did an okay job of it in the first half. He did a significantly better job of it in the second half. But even just individually, it's not like Ribey did nothing here. And I know we're like, Ribey's soft. Well, like Carson Cooper defended him well too.
Yeah.
So I just didn't come out of this at all being like Coop's a liability. I came out of this pretty impressed with how he played. Were there individual moments that like were really glaring to you that I didn't see in the first half?
I mean, a lot of it wasn't his fault, I guess I would say, but I'm big on like the don't help up or don't help up, help over. But to your point, that's because they were getting blown by. And he also just had like some kind of head scratching closeouts on Caravan that like just let
Yeah.
him go like directly past him. But at the same time, it's a tough check. But I thought he was really good in the second half.
Okay. I do think, and you can disagree with me, you do not have to take this as fact. This is my
Hmm.
interpretation of this. I think Carson Cooper, with you and also with a good portion of this fan base, is just one of those guys you guys struggle to rally behind. Like, I,
Hmm.
I think we're almost always going to try and find the negative with him.
I
And
honestly hand up here. More so me. I think the rest of the fan base is like Coop train for the most part. Like
maybe,
they've
but
accepted it.
the rest of the fan base is also like, head, shoulders, knees, and toes shaking for Ethan Taylor, as they should be, to be clear.
Hmm.
Like, again, this is still the IMG B team guy. His story is really cool. I actually have really developed a soft spot for what Carson Cooper's become because he is like miles better than I ever thought he would be.
Hmm.
I still think you're probably not in a great spot if he needs to be like your full-time center. And the
Hmm.
only backup on this team is McCulloch, who played 8 minutes in this game. Like
Yeah.
this is just on the depth chart, probably the thinnest the center spot has ever been for a Tom Izzo team, and it's gonna demand a lot of Carson Cooper. But bottom line for me, if he's giving you 12 and 10 while also like completely erasing the other team's center, I have a hard time being upset at that. That's my interpretation, but I get how others could feel differently about it. The guy I don't have a hard time being upset with. Can I go there?
I'll go there.
I tweeted about this. Cohen Carr is a mess right now. He's a mess right now. And the entire offseason, I feel like all that was talked about with Cohen was what he needs to become offensively, what he needs to add to his game offensively, what he needs to mature into as a half court generator, all these things, which, by the way, hasn't done him. None of those things have actually happened, at least through 2 exhibition games.
Hmm.
So that's one element of it. But the thing that's never talked about with Cohen, he has a ton of growth to do on the defensive side too. Like this guy, outside of eye-popping blocks here and there, has not proven himself to be even a good defender in 2 years of college basketball. He's like a bench guy that you don't think is a liability, but he wasn't like coming in and getting stops ever really last year. And this year it's more noticeable. Through 2 games, he's just out of position. He's getting fried in one-on-one situations. We talked about it after the Bowling Green game. I think it feels like almost mental as much as it is physical, where he just kind of checks out of plays here and there. The optimistic view of this to me would be, oh, it's just exhibitions. Cohen will flip it on. But I don't like that if that is what's going on. And I also don't think that's what's going on. I think he's not a good defender. And that's defense. It's diabolically worse from a rebounding perspective. This kid played 33 minutes in this game, is the best athlete in the country, and pulled down 0 defensive rebounds. And he has a track record through 2 years of being a net negative rebounder. And every time I have brought this up, people have pushed back on me and said, well, it's just because they want him to leak out in transition. They need him to rebound this year.
Hmm.
This team needs him to rebound. You got beat by Bowling Green on the boards. You got beat in this game in the boards. And Cohen is not coming off the floor and he's not rebounding. So that's about as fired up as I will get in exhibition games. Again, this could flip. I get it. In 1 week, it could look totally different. But my interpretation as a bystander of Cohen Carr is just that flat out, he has a long way to go in a lot of different areas to be deserving of the 33-minute a game role he's currently getting. And there aren't better options. Like you could maybe give Jordan Scott a few. I'm not arguing that Cohen should go back to a 20 minutes a game role. But if this team is going to be what your fan base wants and what Izzo thinks it can be, Cohen has to be better in a lot of different areas. And I'm not sure he can be. That would be my fear here. He can obviously rebound better than this, but like he's not a good rebounder.
Mm-hmm.
If the pitch is like bad rebounder becomes good rebounder overnight, we haven't seen that in 2 years, you know?
Yeah, the rebound is more of a concern than the defense for me. Because the defense is bad, but I can point to like small. I can point to moments last year where I'm not saying he was locked down or he was, but this year it is noticeably worse. It's noticeably worse defensively, and it's really, really bad. Like he's getting blown by, he's falling asleep, he's going under screens, he's not closing out the shooters. It's just really bad defensively. Um, I think he can be better defensively than he showed. He was a little bit better in the second half of that game, but I agree with you. If he's going to be a guy that plays 33 minutes, like Izzo puts it on the goddamn video board in practice. It's defend, rebound, run. He's only doing the run portion of that.
That's the only thing he's doing at a high
That's
level
the
on the
only
basketball
thing
court.
he's doing. And look, I get it. Like our best offense is transition, and part of that is Cohen Carr getting out and running. But you also can't do that unless you get a rebound. And he needs the rebound for this team. You cannot put your foot on the top of the backboard and play 33 minutes and have zero defensive rebounds in 33 minutes. It's just unacceptable.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And I know that the staff's gonna see this. I know they're gonna I know not see this. I know that they notice it. They have to.
Yeah.
And it was even more noticeable in the first half when we that was part of the reason why we couldn't score at all. Everyone's like, "Oh, we got to get out in transition. We got to get Carr out in transition." We can't get out in transition because we're not rebounding. Because our guy who has a 47-inch vertical is pulling down two whole rebounds in 33 minutes of a basketball game, no defensive rebounds against, with all due respect, like a Caravan Ryby front court is not like this defensive monster rebounding. We should be able to out rebound UConn.
Yeah. 100%. And
So
that too, while I think part of why I feel the way I do about Cooper, and you could lump Kohler in, is like while Cohen Carr is letting the whole team down in this space, those two are stepping up and doing everything they effing can to like negate it. Like that for those two to pull down 22 rebounds combined in 46 minutes is like awesome. So I hear we're going to talk lineup stuff in just a minute, and we spent a lot of time on this in the Discord last night in the conversation on it. There's a lot of like, what lineup tweaks could we make to get a better version of Michigan State out here right now? A lot of people's proposals are to put Cohen Carr at the 4 next to Kohler. I don't think you can do that. I think that would just make all of the weaknesses of this team right now louder and louder and louder. Like
yeah,
he could earn that with rebounding. He's not doing that right now.
and another thing for me too, just like looking at the player that Cohen Carr is. If you are going to get the notoriety, the big upping, right, and you're going to get, Izzo wants Cohen Carr to be one of the better players on his team. You're looked at through a different lens. You're not the 20-minute a game guy. And I'm not saying that this is if he did this in his little off the bench role he did last year, we would be okay with it. But you cannot play 33 minutes and give that effort defensively and rebound the way you do. And if he does do that, we are in trouble. That's the big thing about it. We
Yeah.
need him to do it. If he does not do it, it's going to get spooky.
Well, that's my fear. So do you think it's fatigue? Because you could convince me if we're trying to figure out the why, he's not used to playing this many minutes.
To be honest with you, when I watch it, I think it looks like a want to me. Not to be the want it more guy, but
Yeah.
on the defensive rebound portion, I think even on the defensive portion, I think he's thinking about getting out and running.
I think it's one of those things. Maybe they've built some bad habits with him in past years where it's like, oh, Izzo even said it, like a Colin Carr dunk is worth 10 points, right?
Mm.
I think when he was coming off the bench playing 18 to 22 minutes, they wanted very different things from him than what they want this year.
Right.
And I think he hasn't ironed that out. Now, I trust the staff to get there with him. But yeah, I think it's just I don't know. I don't think the rebounding's gonna be great ever with him. I think he's a bad rebounder. I think he has really bad habits and is just not very good at it, which sounds crazy for the best athlete in the country. But I think he's a good offensive rebounder, and he did pull two of those down in this game. But he just hasn't. He's never put on tape that he's a quality defensive rebounder. He hit a three. I mean, 1 for 1 on threes. He had a couple nice moves, even in the half court in this game. They got him a post touch, and he scored off of that. So I do think there are like incremental signs of him being a different player than last year, especially offensively. But if the defense and rebounding doesn't come around, it doesn't matter if he gives you one extra three a game, if he gets one extra post touch a game, and he's still not a guy you're like giving the ball and running ball screens for.
Well, also, I think that it would help for him to simplify things a little bit on the
Yeah.
offensive end instead of trying to do more. Like to me, I even if he didn't make that 3-point attempt, it was just like it was a decision. Just shoot the three. If you're gonna if you can shoot it and shoot it well enough, you believe in it, just shoot it. If you can't, if they close out, drive. Like I don't want him when he was catching the ball and then like just kind of letting guys do some things around him and just like kind of I don't know surveying what he wants to do. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
And I really don't want him coming off ball screens either. So it's I don't know. It's a situation they got to figure it out though. But it's just not going to get it done though. That's the thing.
And in terms of they got to figure it out, it really is just he needs to be better.
Yeah.
That's the fix. Cohen needs to be better. And I think there are parts of this he clearly can be. There are parts of this I'm not sure he can be. I don't know that he's going to become a plus rebounder. I know he can defend better than he has through two exhibition games. I don't really know what else is there offensively beyond like offensively he's been pretty good through two exhibition games, but this might be a good offensive night for Cohen Carr, and that's not a great offensive player still. I don't know. You add it together.
And bad from the free throw line. We didn't even mention that.
Yeah, I mean, Combo was in our Discord, and he was like, "What happened to Cohen's free throw shooting?" And I was like, "He's a bad shooter." Like, I know he made 20 straight last year, but like, are we really stunned Cohen Carr had a bad night from the line?
Yeah. Oh, well, how many? I mean, he was. What was he last season?
70%. And people
70.
seem to
What?
be celebrating 70 as a great shooting year. If 70% was a great year from the stripe, guess what? You're not a good shooter.
That hurts.
Like I'm right.
Well, I mean, my best year was
If
74%.
you're
So
coming out of like a low volume free throw line year where you made 70%, people are like, he was awesome at the line last year. You're not a good shooter.
yeah. Did anyone
Like
say? I don't. Did anyone use the word awesome at the line?
good. He was good at the line last year.
Yeah. I'll take okay.
It's for a
I,
good free throw shooter, 70% is very okay.
I think through two exhibition games, he's like 40.
Right. But I
Damn
think the
near.
point is if you're surprised by that, to me, you're not really understanding of like he's going to have 2 game stretches where he can't make a free throw.
Hmm.
And then he's going to have a couple where he like shoots 90% from the line. That doesn't make him a 90% shooter. He's going to be like wildly volatile in all shooting ways. The guy is not a
Right.
shooter and won't be.
Right.
Okay. In the end, last note for me on Cohen. This also speaks to like what the role change is for him very clearly because last year I think we would come out of a game like this if he had played 22 minutes, given you 11 points, 4 for 6 from the floor, hit a three. I think we're coming out of this being like, damn, he hit a three. That was cool. And now we're like, he's Michigan State's best player. What did he do? Oh shit, he let the team down a ton. Like the bar has just been raised for this kid. And that's what comes with being the quote unquote Michigan State best player.
Hmm.
So we'll see. We'll keep evaluating this. Thought he was a lot better against Bowling Green, and there were still issues against Bowling Green. Elsewhere here,
I need your fierce thoughts.
um, I think this was about the baseline performance for Fears that I expect this year.
Hmm.
And I think he was the best player offensively for Michigan State pretty clearly. I think he was the straw that stirred the drink, so to say. Like he got into it defensively. He was chippy. He had 6 assists, 6 turnovers isn't great, but I think there's just going to be nights like that from Fears. Um, look, I've called it foul baiting in the past. I'm actually going to say this as a true, genuine piece of praise here. Looking at this team, Jeremy Fears getting to the free throw line is probably your best offense. And I do not think that is good at all. Hopefully that changes. But for now, while Kurt Heng is starting at shooting guard, Jeremy Fears going to the free throw line every other possession is the best way for this team to score outside of transition. So I think he knows that. Do I wish he could score in other ways? Yeah. Doesn't look like he's gotten there yet. But man, if he can make 10 free throws a night and spit out 6 assists with you, I think you got to be really happy with that performance.
I was sick to my stomach because I thought he had some pretty good like actual moves in this game. Like going to the basket. He also had like the little come off the screen, actually like pulled it back, lost caravan, pulled up. I needed that pull up to go in for narratives. Did
Would have been
not go
big.
in.
Yeah.
But like show like he's gonna have to score. He has to. And I don't care where it
But
comes from.
can that be the free throw line? Or are you
What?
talking he's going to have to like make shots?
No, 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 I don't. I think I don't care. It's got to be whatever. Like
Because
if it's
he
against a,
he can do this. If we're just
yeah.
saying we just need scoring production,
I need something that puts numbers in the points column.
it's going to look like this, and I think he's going to do it every night. And I think
Okay.
it probably depends. Like if Michigan State's really good, I think your fan base is going to adore this. If Michigan State's a bubble team, I think your fan base is going to blame Fears for having limitations.
Hmm.
Like that's kind of I think he's sort of the guy that's going to become the identity of this,
Hmm.
and Cohen to an extent too. But like similar to I, it's similar to the Hogard experience to me. Now, Fears, I would rather have Fears every time. But like when the team's good, it's like, yeah, this is kind of gross, but like we believe in it. And then the moment it's like a bubble team, it's like, well, that guy's not good enough. He sucks. Get him out. Like there's an element of that with Fears to me. He's got pretty big problems in his game still. I think he's this team's best player right now outside of Kohler. He's going to be the identity of this team for good and bad. And yeah, to me, 14-6 from him, you'll take that every single night. But it's just funny that all of the points are coming from the line. That's all he can really do right now, you know?
Yeah, more defensive rebounds than Colin Carr.
That's not good. What do you have? One?
Yeah.
That's not good. How
How
worried
many
are you about the
stops?
shooting?
Very,
14 attempts from three.
very.
This team last year was 327th nationally in 3-point attempt rate. Now, obviously, they didn't make many either. But you were not a team that shot a lot of threes last year. I think the shooting's pretty clearly worse this year than last year.
Yeah,
I'm not I'm
100%.
I'm not tripping on that, am I?
No, it's 100% worse.
And I don't outside of like Trey Fort's in a bigger role shooting Bryn Forbes level threes.
Yeah.
There's not really a fix coming, is there?
No.
Because Fears and Cohen are not going to start shooting threes. Cooper and Kohler are not going to be big time attempts guys.
Hmm.
And as far as I can tell, those four are going to lead this team in minutes all season long.
Yeah.
So you've built a roster that is probably going to be last in the country in 3-point attempt rate, no matter who plays the two.
Oh yeah.
That's probably my biggest concern. 14 attempts in a game is like crazy.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Um, we need Trey Ford to be a high volume guy from three, but I don't think Izzo could despise a mold of a player more than Trey Ford.
What do you mean by that? Because he had a quote after the game that was pretty direct.
Did he? I didn't. I'm not sure if I saw it.
He was asked about the shooting guard spot, and he was like, "Well, last year with Jace, it was easy to make a change because he was just such a high IQ player. This year, gonna have to be a little more patient."
Yeah, well, to that point, this is the thing that happened. Trey Ford shot selection. He took a bad one and he found Pine. And because he found Pine, that forced more Kurtang minutes, and look, two exhibition games. I'm not gonna go completely scorched earth here, but
You can do it. You should do it. He looks terrible.
yeah, he looks really bad. He looks really bad. Trey Forrest should be the starting two guard on this team. And here's the thing, Izzo's just gonna have to accept the flaws that come with Trey Fort. And I understand it because, man, Fort is he like I said, he can shoot the ball. He's willing to shoot it for sure. He will do that. That's I mean, he had 8 attempts in this game in 18 minutes. He's going to get his shots up. I would bet that he has 7 total assists on the year.
He had one in this game.
Yeah, but that was probably accidental. It was like legit. Like he catches it on the wing, and honestly, I felt bad because there was actually two moments I remember specifically, and not to just point out guys that didn't because they didn't do anything, but Cam Ward and Jesse McCullough got like solo ball switched on them,
Yep.
and Fort stared at him for 4 seconds, and I'm like, throw it in, like throw it in, like they sealed, they're right there, throw it in. He stared at him for 4 seconds and was like, nah, no, shooty shoot. I'm gonna go to the middle here, fade. Maybe I'll make it. But at the same time, he is our best option at the two guard spot. He needs to start. The whole Kurtang starting experience is over. And I think you need to put the Trey. I think you need to put Trey Ford in, and Izzo's going to have to accept the flaws that come with Trey Ford because this team needs shooting. They need shooting, and they need guys that are willing to shoot. To your example, like guys that are willing to up the volume from the low level that it is.
The thing is, Tang's also willing to shoot. He just can't make them right now.
But okay, but Tang looks broke.
Well,
Like the jumper looks broken.
Tang's bad.
Yeah.
I've seen enough. I'll call it. If everybody else wants to play patient on it, fine. I'll call it. He's bad. The guy he reminds me most of that I've seen
Can I get
is
on that with you?
yeah, sure. The guy that I've and by the way, by bad, I think he could play like bench minutes. I think he could play like 15 minutes a game this year and not kill this team. Like, I'm not saying he's useless at Michigan State, but in
But he
terms
can't
of
be a
like
starter.
yeah, in terms of like, is this the guy at shooting guard? It's not. It's not going to be. While he's missing all the shots, he's still really slow processing plays. That's my issue with him. He moves at a minor league speed. He does not make the right read. He looks uncomfortable. He looks totally in over his head at this level. And if he's wide open and you kick to him, you better catch and shoot and make them to overcome that and prove your value. He's not making them right now. And because of that, I think at some point he's going to lose opportunities. 2 for 4 from the free throw line in this game. You can't be a shooter and do that. 0 for 3 from three in this game. He's cold to start the season. Maybe that'll flip. I don't know. But for me, Cardi reminds me truly, and this is going to sound super disrespectful. It kind of is, if I'm being honest with myself. He reminds me of Adrian Nunez, who, by the way, in Jawan's first year at Michigan, started at shooting guard for the first month. And then finally, it was just like, this can't happen. And now he's a country singer. Would love to get Kurtang cowboy hat sooner rather than later and see what we can work with. This ain't it. It's not it. Now, the difference, people are going to do the same thing that we ended up doing last year. That if in November last year, I was leading this charge. Jace is special, play him. Took me one game to say that last year. I don't think it's the right convo this year yet. Fort's not that good. Maybe he will be, and he's definitely better than Tang.
That's where I'm at, though.
Right, but he might not be better than Scott. And I don't think you want to play Scott at the 2, but I think you still need to experiment here. And to me, what I'm hearing from fans is more like it's Fort. I still need to see some things from Fort. I know for a fact Izzo doesn't like what he's seeing from Fort. Last year, it felt inevitable. At some point, he's going to hand it to Jace. I don't think it feels inevitable that it's going to be Fort this year. He is not an Izzo guy. He drives Izzo insane. You can see it. And yes, he is clearly the shot maker this team needs. He ain't going to help the defense. If Cohen Carr ain't guarding or rebounding, like you can't really have multiple guys on the floor at once that don't defend and don't rebound. That's not Michigan State. And the one thing people won't like this, the one thing we know about this team that they'll be good at, in theory, is that Cooper, Kohler, and Fears guard and rebound. You can build around those three guys giving you that every game. But right now, until Cohen fixes his shit, it makes it hard to argue for a total defensive liability to come play at the two. I mean, we're gassing Ford up like he's special. He was 1 for 4 from three in this game.
Mm.
He hasn't earned the belief of like it's really just people are out on Tang without saying it. And I get why. I agree with that element of it. But let's force Fort to do something, to actually take it before we just give it to him, because I don't think it's all that similar to last year with how we were clamoring for a change.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not asking for like run everything for Trey. I'm not even asking for that. I'm saying that he's the better two guard than Kurtang. That's all I'm saying.
I'd experiment with Scott. I'd
At the
experiment with
two,
as crazy as it is, I'd experiment with Ugachukwu too. I actually like some things I've seen from Divine in early games, and I did not expect to say that. But I just to me, take all the rest of the roster out of it. Fort to me looks like a really good sixth man who just comes in and guns, and that's all he does. I think if we're trending towards like we need 30 minutes out of Trey Ford, it scares me for this roster. So I don't know what we do. I like Scott. Scott looks good to me right now. I do think defensively there's going to be issues, whoever's trying to guard the two with that team. But
I mean,
I just,
Scott's a better defender than Fort and Tang.
can he guard twos though?
He was pretty good last night defensively.
Then I'd try there. If you think
I
he can
would.
hold up defensively at the two, I would turn
I
there.
was I was pleasantly surprised. Like his rotations were perfect. He was in every spot he needed to be in. He's like also taller than those guys. He's not necessarily stronger, but like he actually used his length pretty well to like disrupt things. Yeah, I mean, he had. When I was watching it, I was like, he's kind of everywhere with his hands. It does when I look at the box. He had 3 steals in this game. That it was all kind of in the second half. He was pretty good defensively in this game.
Well, and look, Trey Ford and Jordan Scott and Divine all had more minutes than Kurt Tang in this game. So I think this is trending where we think it's trending anyway, even if
Mm.
Izzo won't come out and say it. I would guess that it ends up being Scott by the end of the year. Izzo keeps comparing him to Max Christie. I think that's a good thing for the long run of the program. Like, let's be real. If Jordan Scott earns a starting spot, that's better than if Trey Fort's here for 3 months doing it.
Yeah,
Maybe Trey Fort really a light flips on and he picks it up defensively, or maybe he just makes like if Trey Fort is like 50% from three, then of course just play him. Who cares about the defense? But I want to see those shots start to go in before we do that, and maybe they will. We'll see. 30 minutes combined for Fort and Tang though tells you all you need to know about the spot. Like Izzo is already searching for answers outside of those two guys, and I think he knows what he's done here. I think he knows Fort is frustrating as hell. Like that's not the great mental fit for him, and Tang's not good enough.
yeah, straight up.
This is Trey Holloman's fault.
Yeah.
On a serious note, like this
Hmm.
shouldn't even be a debate. The
Hmm.
guy that is coming off the bench at NC State would have started and played 32 minutes for Michigan State this year.
Yeah.
And that's going to be frustrating for all parties, I think.
Yeah. 100%. But uh, congrats to Holloman though, because by the looks of the IG, the checks are fat.
Last note from me, was surprised McCulloch only got 8 minutes in this game. However, he basically put up an 8 trillion. He had one
Mhm.
foul, and that was it. Uh, I would call this a concerning performance. If your backup center can only give you 8 minutes and didn't record a stat, do you have a backup center?
Uh, you know, I'd like to come out here and say at this point, at this time, given the situation, Gregory, I don't know if I have a backup anything.
The whole bench.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I can tolerate that. That leads me to the last guy I wanted to ask you about. The guy that played the most minutes off the bench was Cam Ward, the guy who Izzo himself termed as the most physically ready freshman he's had in years. A guy who was supposed to be better than Jordan Scott on paper. 21 minutes, zero shot attempts, two rebounds, one free throw.
Yeah, disappointing. I thought that given his minutes, he would show a little bit more.
21 just extremely empty minutes.
Yeah, for the most part.
Which is like, okay, you're a freshman. That's fine. But that I think the hard part is there's like pretty clearly a big opportunity.
Can I do something though?
You can.
Can I put my Izzo hat on?
Please
I want to blame Trey Ford.
talk to me.
I can think of three plays specifically where I was like, pass Cam the ball,
Yeah.
pass it, pass, and he can't. Now that would have probably just got his attempts up. He could have went 0 for 3. But I was legit watching it, and I was like, dog, throw it into him.
Yeah.
He's got a small guy on him. Throw it into him. Let's see what he can do. But
Yeah.
Ford doesn't have that. But in general, yeah, like in those 21 minutes, you would want to see more from him. Is
I,
basically like in the 15 you got from Scott, you saw something. Even in the 15 you saw from Divine, you saw something, even though it is unacceptable on a 2-on-1 fast break with Cohen Carter dribbling it off your leg and also commit an intentional foul in a half court defense setting.
I like Divine. I think Divine is like this little psycho world version of Trey Holloman. He's a wild card. I like him. I like him. I think he's going to factor in this year more than we thought. But yeah, Ward. I don't even care about scoring shot attempt. Ward just needs to do something. If you're
Yeah.
going, what clearly Izzo like is giving you the lead opportunity here, and you're not really impacting the game in any way. So, by the way, as you just talked through all this, the can I blame Trey Fort for this? You've spent probably 90 seconds of this breakdown discussing how Trey Ford is basically blind in the half court. That's why he can't start. Like we can't sit here and simultaneously be like it's Ford and all. Oh, by the way, he won't pass to anyone.
Mm.
Like he has to solve that if that's actually going to be the role he gets.
Well, if he was making shots, I wouldn't yell at him to pass it.
Sure,
If he was 2 for 4, 3 for 5, then I'd be like, ah,
but he's a total black hole that went 1 for 4 from three in this game. That's not exactly selling me on Fort One shooting guard.
yeah. Also, back to Trey Fort's decision making. Um, Not sure why he left Buckyball. I don't know if this is for him.
It's a perfect fit.
Yeah, yeah, like Buckyball was for him. He should have just went to A&M. Him and Mackenzie and Baco could have played shooty shooty together. It would have been awesome. They would have had a great time together. Um,
Well, but this is the Bucky McMillan cycle, though. Guys got to go put up their inflated fake numbers, and then guys got to go elsewhere and fail. That's what he's been doing for 8 years of his career.
I need Ethan Taylor and I need Josiah Jervis to save my life.
I'm excited. Last note on this recap: Michigan State. What do they feel like right now? Sixth place in the Big Ten was kind of our baseline coming in, and some people thought that was low. Fifth, sixth, I feel like was the range. Fourth, sixth, maybe. Uh, Bona fide tournament team was the expectation. Kind of just you don't want to see Izzo in March. We'll see what happens when we get there. But top six in the Big Ten, tournament team, no brainer. Do they feel like that to you?
No, I'm not gonna go as far to say like they feel like a bubble team or anything like that, but I would say I think what we were saying like 5, 6. I'm not even memeing here. More like 6, 7, 8.
I'm trying to go through teams in the Big Ten that just feel ahead of where this roster is. Now, Izzo's going to end up elevating them, but like
Purdue, Michigan, UCLA, Wisconsin, straight up Washington,
Illinois,
Illinois,
then you're into
Oregon.
like I think Oregon probably safely. They're probably in like the Indiana Iowa group.
It's like it's somewhere between
Indiana,
like six,
Iowa, Ohio State.
like 6, 8.
You just named seven before them. So that's
That was just roster conversation though.
just roster. Yeah. Again, I think we do this every single October. This is like the seventh consecutive
Well,
year.
well, you know how you said baseline is 6, like that's what people were thinking for the Michigan State team. I think the ch thing that changed the most is like ceiling. Like there was people that
Okay.
had conversation about like, oh, I could see Michigan State finishing fourth or fifth in the Big Ten. I that would be one of the better efforts from coaches I've ever seen in my life.
I think this is like the seventh consecutive October that I've been like, ooh, this team might be terrible. And then usually they just end up not being terrible. They end up last year they end up being elite.
Yeah,
So
but there was think of who saved us last year.
I know. I know. I feel very strongly that Fears and Cohen are who they are. And if the pitch on like what changes this team was going to be tied to Trey Fort, it's a pretty scary early return. Jordan Scott is probably the big swing piece for me. Can we get
Hmm.
Jordan Scott on the court more? Can he actually kind of mimic some of the Max Christie stuff? I do buy it. I like what I'm seeing from Scott. So, look, I have no doubt Izzo's going to get this team where they need to be. I'm not going to do the total panic button that I feel like I've done in years past, but yeah, it does feel like at least through two exhibitions, a slight step backward for expectations feels fair.
Yep.